special guest for you. I had a lot of questions about the new IONIQ 5N. And you know, I'm an IONIQ 5 owner myself, so I have questions too. So I thought I would enlist the best person in the world to answer these questions, Mr. Albert Biermann. Thank you, Albert, for coming on to our channel and talking about this, your baby here. So what was it like developing the IONIQ 5N?
Yeah, so it was a very challenging, long journey because we built already high expectation with our combustion N cars. And now the big challenge was, so how can we keep this level of entertaining driving, fun, driving involvement in an EV? So EV is more heavy, there's no engine sound and things like this. So we had to come up with whole new ideas to bring the involvement, the driving experience, the excitement. But also, yeah, like we have these three pillars of N, which is Corner Rascal, everyday sports car, but first of all also racetrack capability. And to bring an EV to the racetrack and make it track day capable, that was a huge challenge because it's all new terrain. There's no EV out there for track driving at this point, but since this should be a true N car, so that was a big long journey from starting with the first EV. But we were lucky because the IONIQ 5 base model of the eGMP platform is a wonderful starting point. 800 volt electric architecture, silicon carbide inverter, high-speed motors. So this is really the good stuff, and so I think nobody else had a starting point like that. But then, how to bring it to a true N with that three pillars. So we did the typical job like we do on every N car: chassis stiffening up, shock absorbers, roll bar springs, kinematics change, elastic kinematics, all on precision, all on feedback, steering more direct, more authentic feedback from the wheels, the typical N procedure. But then on top we had to do all these EV specific things. So now we have all-wheel drive, we have a 2.2 ton vehicle, we have more than double the power than before on the N cars. So this gave huge challenges to our engineers to create this driving fun, this agile, playful track driving or country road driving, and make basically the elephant dance, right? So so that is quite a challenge for the engineers, but also then utilize all the potential of an EV, things that we could not work with before, like brake energy regeneration, feeding energy back into the battery while coasting, throttle off driving. So those were the areas where we came up with many new functionality, new ideas. So, and conditioning the battery for the track driving, cooling it down to the sweet spot. So for like a drag race, for short full burst, so we go to a little higher temperature. If you go track driving for several tracks, like in a track day experience, cooling it more down. And so this kind of functionality, and that was the good part of it. Discover whole new areas of functions, systems in the EV, and use them to bring new kind of fun in EV driving. And of course we gave tough targets, like we want to drive 2 laps on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, really like below 8 minutes, 2 laps after each other below 8 minutes. So that's quite challenging. I think there's nothing out there at this point of an EV, but I don't know so much what others are doing, but just to challenge them. And then also make a simulation for track day driving, 20-20-20, like 20 minutes track driving, 20 minutes super fast charging, and go back to the track and do another 20 minutes of track driving. So all this kind of challenges and targets I gave to the engineers to bring the true N values to our customers. So that is just a small part of what we did, but still, if you make all this, how do you involve the driver in an EV? In EV usually they have only one gear, like IONIQ 5 only has one gear. So how to make the top speed of 260 and at the same time make a very fast acceleration time from 3.4 seconds, right? 0 to 100. So we really increased the RPM level of our already high-speed IONIQ base car motor, going and exceeding 20,000 RPM. So, and also we improved the cooling, that the magnet temperature is not getting too high, so we can do German Autobahn high-speed runs, right, with 260 for a certain amount of time, but still have very good acceleration. So this is all on the performance side. But the fun part, the involvement of the driver, we started very early because it was clear the day will come when we will do an EV for N. So, and then, so how do you bring an EV driving fun to the level of the Hyundai N cars? That was the big question. We were started with sounds. We worked with sound. We made an IONIQ concept car like 6 years ago, working on sound, working with vibrations. Yeah, it was nice, but not enough. So I challenged the engineers, said, okay, what about shifting? And they look at me like I'm nuts. So how can we shift? We only have one gear. I know, but we can, at least we can pretend shifting somehow. And so we started a new game, invent virtual gear shifting, right? And at that time, there was no idea about any IONIQ 5N. So, but I was sure the time will come. And then when the IONIQ 5N project got the approval, of course, then we threw more resources on this virtual gear shifting. And the virtual gear shifting in combination then with our sound, we have 8 speakers in the car, outside speakers, and then also with the HMI, human machine interface, in the Combi cluster. So the target was really to kind of bring the driving experience of the i30N or Elantra N with our 8-speed wet double clutch transmission into an EV. So usually we use pedals on the steering wheel to adjust the regen level. But when the moment we push the magic button and we go to, we call it N E-shift, then the pedals go for shifting. So we have upshift, downshift, and we are modulating the motor torque, front and rear, very close to what you experience in an i30N, Elantra N with a double clutch transmission. Drag torque kicking in, even there's a RPM ref limiter, so when you exceed like 7,700 RPM, like a pop, 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 you are in the ref limiter. We have shift lights, give you an idea to shift. So this all, and then you get a jolt when you upshift, like on the DCT car. So we had our own reference. We didn't need to look at any other vehicle from other brand because the reference we already had in N. But yeah, we have it in a combustion car. And how to bring it into the EV? But I think with IONIQ 5N we pretty much succeeded. So I saw many people doubting all these kind of things. They think, oh, this is just fake and gimmicks. But once they drive IONIQ 5M, they all come out of the car and say, oh wow, this is cool. I feel like I drive a combustion car. And this is exactly what the mission is of this first Hyundai high performance NEV, that we become attractive, that we can have traditional high performance vehicle customers moving from their combustion car into our sustainable driving fun Hyundai NEV, that we can lure them over. Yeah, but also of course with this car we can demonstrate the full potential of the EGMP platform. We squeeze out like everything from the platform when it comes to cooling, performance, everything. But first of all, most important thing on any N car is the driving fun. Yeah, and we try to do it at a really reasonable price. Yeah. So the car cannot be too expensive, and the driving experience should be very approachable, accessible for even not so much experienced drivers. So creating a confidence in driving, that you can trust the car, you can predict the vehicle's reaction. So that is also a value that every N car has. And also in this heavy EV we had to create this. So that is all the true N story you find in this car. and you find it at a really acceptable price point. Yeah, and how can we do this? How can we have this super high-tech technology now, high-speed motors, inverters, 800 volt, best battery, everything at such price point? The magic is we do all this kind of things in-house. It's all our own technology. We don't need to go to suppliers, buy like this, buy like that. We can be very fast, we can be very flexible and work within our own creativity and competence. Yeah, and working with our sister companies like Mobis and Transys to bring this to our customers. And that is also the strong part of an N vehicle, right? I keep saying no other car can even come close to the N car in its segment when it comes to fun per dollar. And for sure with the Elantra or Veloster we made that strong point, but also with the IONIQ 5N in a whole different segment. At this point I can guarantee there's no other EV even really coming close to fun per dollar level of IONIQ 5N. So it's a true N car in almost every aspect. People
are always, they're already commenting already. They're saying, oh, it's just like an EV6 GT. Well, what about the Model 3 performance? What do you say about that? Oh, that has just as much power. What differentiates the 5N to vehicles like that?
If I speak with people who know our N combustion cars,
oh yeah,
I only need to say it's a true N car, and then people who know our N cars would fully understand what I mean. Probably not too many people drove our N cars yet, so they cannot know what it means to have a true N car. So this direct connected feel in cornering, you can push it on the track, it's not derating, and it gives this confidence and this playfulness and involvement of the driver, and this is really, I think, what clearly stands out from every other EV at this point. I think there's nothing out there that involves the driver in such an exciting and entertaining, playful way like we can do with IONIQ 5N.
So who is this IONIQ 5N for?
Oh, it's for me. My next car is IONIQ 5N.
Mine too.
This car has a huge utility. This can be your family car, so you have a lot of space in the trunk, the rear seats, everything. So it's an everyday sports car. It's very comfortable on the normal commute to work, to school, whatever. Yeah, but it can be that corner rascal on the country road, and it can be that beast on the track, where you really push out everything and enjoy the whole performance potential with the drift mode or the N pedal feature. And so it can be almost everybody's darling, because it has a wide range of talent. So in the true sense of the original high performance vehicle idea. High performance vehicle started out of sedans, right? Long time ago. It was normal sedan with powerful engine and talents for track driving and so on. And this is what IONIQ 5N is as an EV. We transform the original idea of the high performance sedan or high utility vehicle into the EV segment. And so I think many people, especially, this is all-wheel drive. If you put good winter tires on this car in Scandinavia, in Canada, North America, this is the true winter machine, right? So you can have fun in the winter time, like amazing, with this car. We spend a lot of time in Lapland, in Sweden, to develop all the snow ice driving talents. So, and the fun is on every road. You can enjoy this vehicle, no matter if it's in the winter time or in the warm weather area, because we put all the cooling in here. So it's a very robust performing vehicle. So I can see many applications.
So this is definitely a feather in your cap for Hyundai, and this is quite the halo car. what's next for Hyundai in the N?
We cannot talk so much about the future, but you know, on EGMP we have other Hyundai cars, so maybe we can continue something similar like this. Makes a lot of sense, of course. But also I think what we do this, we have a mission to do in Hyundai N, to continue the driving fun into the electric vehicle era. That is the job our engineers have to do. And this was always my story to the engineers. This is why we have engineers, to bring solutions, offer something to our customers that their fun, the sustainable fun to drive, can move on into the future. But now we are in a higher price point, like the typical end customers. And I think very important is to bring a smaller EV in the future with the fun to drive like we find in an i20N or i30N, but as a lower price point. But it's not so easy at this point. We have no base car yet, but of course you can imagine we are working a lot, thinking a lot. How can we bring this into a B segment car or C segment car? And that is the big next challenge, because now we set a reference point with this car. 2 laps on Nürburgring Nordschleife, go below 8 minutes, everything, track driving, everything is there. How do you do this in a vehicle, in a Hyundai N vehicle at a much lower price point? At this point I have not all the answers yet, but when we started this project, also we didn't have many answers. Now we found them, and I'm sure our talented engineers, they will find answers also for this next challenge.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Albert. And you know, it's like we can't wait to see what's coming up, and I'm crossing my fingers that maybe I can trade my IONIQ 5 into one of these N's. So stay tuned and make sure to like and subscribe. See ya.
Bye-bye.